Hello everyone, welcome back to Guapish. In this very special episode, we are continuing our Star Wars sequel rewrites. Today, we will be introducing each of our rewrites for Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Joining me, as always, is Nico.
Hey there, long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to ask you guys a question real quick here. Do you like Star Wars? That's fair.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, alright.
Joining us like in the last rewrite, Dylan.
Hey, I am here and I am ready for some rewrites. Let's go.
And Hunter.
Yo.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I say let's not fiddle-faddle.
Nope.
Let's not dilly-dally.
No
let's get
horsing
right
around
into the
right now.
scripts. Yeah, and zero horseplay, no tomfoolery. And I think, like last time, we should have Hunter start.
Yeah, that
Did I
sounds
start
good to me.
last time?
Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Alright, that's fair. Now, contrary to last week, I did actually put some thought and effort into this. I was on a plane recently and I watched the movie and I just kept taking notes about how terrible that movie is. So
Okay.
basically what I did with my script is I took that movie but just made it the best version of itself.
Ooh. Similar to what I did with the last one.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yes.
I do have some, so recasting's not, mandatory, but I just wanted to run these by you guys.
Of course.
Luke will now be played by Christopher Walken, but in a fat suit.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I kinda
Ray
like
will
that.
be played by the AT&T girl.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like the web whatever, the fucking...
No, that's the, what is that? That's the new phone lady. No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah, the
the
milker.
girl in the commercials, AT&T girl.
Oh, gotcha, that chick.
No
Okay.
specific reason why.
Okay.
Alright, and then Finn will be actually Shia LaBeouf, but in blackface.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Dylan, are you okay with this? Do you
Now,
okay that one?
This has my seal of approval.
He's a method
Okay.
actor.
There we go.
Okay?
Perfect.
A method active.
I'm gonna go.
That sounds like a medication.
method.
Oh.
Method active.
Give me
Please
20
consult your
cc's
doctor.
of that. Poe will be played by CGI younger Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Nice.
Kylo,
But like with
up?
slightly darkened skin, so he looks Latin, right?
Yeah, a little bit, not too much.
Respect.
It's basically
Not
him,
too
but just
Latin.
like 20 years younger, so it's gonna be pretty confusing throughout the movie. But
Right.
Yeah, since Harrison
Kylo
Ford is
Ren.
still...
he's also went into method acting, so it is still Adam Driver. But to really show his anguish and pain, we did take one of his nuts away. Also, the Codebreaker will be played by Jesse from Breaking Bad, and yes, he does still say bitch a lot.
Nice.
Okay.
Perfect.
He's, I'm trying to break this code, bitch. Yeah, it's cool stuff. Also, the rest of the crew on the ship is just a bunch of the Blue Man group.
Nice.
I like it.
I don't know what planet they're from, but I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of cool.
It's like Tatooine or something like that.
Yeah,
Or something like that.
that's
Yeah.
where the blue milk. Oh,
Ooh.
oh.
Blue man, blue milk. Blue man, blue milk.
Blue man.
All
milk.
right, you guys ready to hop into this little cinematic journey?
Oh boy,
Oh,
I sure hope my
absolutely.
heart can take it.
I'm already
Alright.
at half chub. Let's see if you can get me to full mast.
Nice.
Nice, nice. All right, so the movie starts with a flashback to the end of Episode 7. Only. Wait, I don't want to reveal that yet. But yeah, it starts to the flashback Episode 7, everything that happened there, and all. I don't remember what happened at the end of 7, but I assumed it was probably interesting. Then we go into the next scene, which starts with the roast of Kylo Ren that Emperor Smog, or whatever that guy's name is, is just dealing on him. He's absolutely dealing on him. But, he's going really harsh in this one because in this... Wait, I still don't want to do that yet. My bad. Kylo Ren's getting absolutely roasted. He's getting really pissed off, and that's kind of creating his character arc where I actually want to make him, cool in this movie.
Yeah, of course.
Uh-huh.
And he does that scene where he punches, he uses the helmet, he's punching the wall a lot, and he's yelling. He doesn't get to yell the N-word in any of his other roles, but he
But
gets
he does
really
it
mad.
here.
Yeah, and then Finn wakes up from his sleep because he was knocked out or something for some reason I can't remember. But
he got knocked out by Kylo Ren.
Is that what it was? Yeah, so he wakes up and he's like, yo, what's going on? And then he goes to the front of the ship and all that, and he's like, yo, where's Rey at? Where's my girl? And then we go to Rey finding Luke, so she lands on the planet, but she doesn't find him immediately, so he has to, like, search for him.
Uh-huh.
And while this all is happening, another goes to, like, what would the term for this? Same time, but just a different place. It's not a continuation, just a side plot, I guess.
Concurrent, side plot.
So Luke senses Mr. Kylo getting super pissed off and like sees the true anger in him. So that's when that Yoda tree scene happens, because he's like, yo, I need to burn this tree down so Kylo doesn't get all this information. But Yoda's like, yo, man, the tree doesn't matter anyways. It just burns down. I don't know. I thought that was just a cool scene, so I kept it in there.
Right.
Just had to throw it somewhere in the movie. It didn't really matter where.
Does it matter towards the plot? Not really, but I don't know. Ghost Yoda's cool, so.
Yeah.
Yoda.
And that is when Kylo leads his assault on the Republic fleet, because as you remember in the movie, they're evacuating that area base and then get run up on. This time it's by Kylo and his crew. And in order for the Republic to escape, they need to send in a fleet to distract Kylo and get him off their tail. And as Poe's about to volunteer to help, you just hear "We need you too much, kid." And then Han Solo walks out. That's right, he ain't dead. He's not dead. Why would he be dead?
Why would
he
be dead?
So in the last movie, so what I wasn't going to share from before was Han doesn't die in Episode 7, and that kind of leads to, like, Kylo Ren didn't have the guts to kill Han, because he's like, it's my dad, oh no. So now he feels like a real failure, right? Like, he got roasted, and he didn't kill anybody last movie.
So in like the flashback to Han's death, it like shows a different camera angle in the last movie, and you see he actually stuck the blade like in between his arm and his body, right?
Just like you did when you're like 6 and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
He really sold it. But yeah.
Nailed it. My boy nailed it.
So Han leads this fleet to go and stop Kylo from attacking the fleet, and as the Republic is escaping, then Han dies. But I had to. Just I don't know, I thought it was cool. Who knows? And that's when Luke senses that Han dies, because in this movie Luke actually is like a powerful guy, because I feel like he wasn't that much throughout like the beginning of the movie, but he kind of senses that and he's like, oh, I need to come back and I need to help. So in the movie, Leia doesn't die, because I don't want that purple-haired bitch anywhere around this movie. I don't remember her name, but you guys know who I'm talking about.
Her name is Holdo, or Ellie Sattler.
Yeah, she sucked. She was the worst.
Pretty bad.
Also, Rose dies because she's a stupid character, so.
You don't even introduce her. We just see some random fat Asian girl get killed.
I just want. She's just dead. Not relevant to the story. Which
one random side character is just like, oh no, Rose died.
Like, starting to see some similarities between our films already.
Oh, you're just genociding the cast, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Also, Finn isn't a total wuss in this movie. He's not. I don't know. He's kind of like the mega simp in the movie. He's like, "Where's Rey? I gotta go see Rey. Oh my gosh." Shut up, Finn. All right, be cooler. So
he doesn't talk at all in this one. No words.
So, as the Republic,
he uses African Sign Language.
That'd be cool.
Okay, that was a little rich.
But it's also Shia LaBeouf in blackface, so.
Right. So it kind of justifies it. It's like two instances of racism. Yeah, they cancel each other out.
Obviously. Okay, so as Han is on his little thing to help them get farther away, so they're able to make it away, but like in the movie, like they're just following them because they don't have enough gas and they know they'll catch them eventually. So they're just going away, but they're able to get a distress signal out. Just be like, hey, any of our homies, please come help us out. But they don't know if that's going to work or not. So that's when the plan to go to that to find the Master Codebreaker happens, because Finn figures that out. He's like, oh, we need to do this, right? Which was stupid in the movie because they didn't really like have anybody on board for that. So it kind of just seemed during the movie that like they were kind of just waiting to die the whole time, and that didn't make sense to me. So at least now they have a plan on what's going on. So they go and they're gonna head to that planet to find the Codebreaker. Same casino place, because I don't know, it was pretty cool. So Rey is now training with Luke, because Luke is like, I need to help her be able to defeat Kylo, right? Finn and Poe go to the casino planet to find the one guy that can help them sneak onto the ship. I was thinking about replacing this character, but I actually like the Codebreaker guy, so I'm just gonna keep him. Probably around the same plot of them going to like get imprisoned, and then he's there and he's like, hey, you guys need some help or what up? You know? And then this is, I don't know if this is important to the plot, but I did write down Kylo's high-waisted pants definitely stay in the movie.
Right, and they're even higher.
They're right under his nipples. It's very suffocating on his torso. So, the real backstory, because you know they kind of, during the movie between Luke and Kylo, they kind of had two different backstories of what happened. So the real backstory is that Kylo was already in the darkness because of whatever the evil guy's name is. Like, he already, like... Snoke. Smog. Alright. So, Kylo went to go attack Luke, and Luke defended him off, but he didn't have the heart, he didn't have it in him to kill, you know, his nephew or whatever. So then Kylo escapes, and now he's doing all this bad stuff. So that's why Luke like went off to the island, because he felt like he failed because he couldn't defeat him. While Rey and Luke is trying, so I didn't know how I felt about the whole like Rey and Kylo have like a secret connection or something like that. But I kind of just kept it in because I was like, I don't know, it might be kind of cool. What did you guys think about that in the movie?
I mean, I was okay with it. I didn't particularly have like any concerns with that being a thing or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, I think I agree with Nico.
It was a little weird because they didn't really explain it. They're just like, oh, you know, the Force. But they did that for a lot of things in the movie, so.
Yeah, because Star Wars.
So, while Rey is being trained by Luke, they're doing like cool training sequences, lightsaber fights, throwing rocks and stuff like that. They have a little psychic connection thing, and Kylo is able to figure out where they are. So, he goes to like, you know, go kill these guys, right? But Luke tells Rey to leave before he gets there, because he's like, you're our only hope, you gotta go, I'll stay here. So then, Rey rejoins Finn and Poe as they sneak onto the main destroyer, just so they can, you know, do their plan where they disable the tracking device so they can finally get away. But, you know, they're captured because, I don't know, I guess they suck at this. Or do they? Because now Rey knows a bunch of cool Jedi stuff. So she helps them break out, and they're having this big fight scene, and they're like shooting each other, all stormtroopers and all that. And while this is going on, Kylo makes it to the planet, sees it's just Luke there, and he's like, alright, let's do this. So we get epic fight between Kylo and Luke too. And then also at the same time, the reinforcements that came from the distress signal come in, so now they're fighting the whole fleet. So we got 3 different layers of action going on here. Okay, you got Kylo fighting Luke, you got Poe, Finn, and Rey fighting whoever's on the ship and whoever captured them. It's a very empty script, guys, I'm sorry. And then the reinforcements coming in to attack the New Order fleet. So they're able to escape, obviously, because, you know, Star Wars. And then they're able to wipe out the entire fleet and escape. But Luke does die from Kylo. and that would be the end scene, would be him killing Luke, and then everyone's like, oh, a great disturbance in the Force, oh. And then they're sad, I don't know, maybe have another funeral at the end, who knows.
Okay.
And that was the end.
Nice.
I will now be accepting judgment.
Where was the rising and falling action there? Also, where was the conclusion?
What was the climax?
Where was the introduction to this film?
The climax. There was 3 fights going on at the same time, Tanner. What do you mean?
Which one was the climax?
I don't know. I guess probably Kylo killing Luke.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's probably the most important part of the movie.
Probably. The casino planet is bad, and I'm sorry that I'm.
Oh, I'm happy you say that, Tanner. I'm very happy you say that.
Oh no, Nico's got plans.
We'll see.
Stan's gonna hit the slots.
So, what'd you think? Was it all right?
It's pretty good.
6 out of 10.
I thought it was very epic.
Thanks,
Yeah.
bro. Is it better than the first one at least? Well, than the original at least.
Oh yeah, I mean,
That's
like let's
all I really want.
let's not get crazy here.
Like, it doesn't take that much.
You could be a literal chimpanzee and write up something better.
And I
God.
am. So that's
That's
neato.
We do commonly refer to Hunter as the monkey boy.
Ooh.
Okay. It's a good thing
Nice.
I am white. What's happening?
Well, Dylan, on that note, would you like to begin your film?
Wait,
Sure.
what's that?
What?
Oh, guys, sorry. That's today? Guys, I gotta go take back the Holy Land. That's my bad. I gotta go, guys.
Damn.
Okay.
Shit.
Don't let
Okay.
Jerusalem fall.
Oh, you know I won't.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Man,
I
they
thought he
has-
was
yeah, you
joking.
can't stay the
Okay,
whole time.
good.
All right. Well, I guess.
Wouldn't that be fun though if you hadn't told me and he just did that?
Wouldn't it be fun if we told you to go first, Tanner, instead of Hunter, and then he had to wait an hour before he could tell his?
Whoa.
I hope he remembers to get his friggin' audio, but
Yeah, one can
we'll
only hope.
see.
Well, I mean, there's only time will tell.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and hear it, Dylan.
Yeah,
Alright,
come on, my guy.
so-
Quit hiding.
All right. So much like Hunter, I also actually put thought into this script. And once again, I did try to take the literal title of the movie and actually apply it into the movie because, it can't be The Last Jedi if there's 2 Jedis left.
Okay, I
Mhm.
gotcha.
So,
Well, you see, but the problem is Jedi is its own plural. Like, you don't say Jedis, you still say Jedi.
yeah,
So technically, you could kind of just have as many Jedi as you want.
I guess that's fair. It depends on what they interpret last to be, whether it's a group or a person.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. So, introduction. We left off in episode 7 with the rebel forces attacking the death planet, moon-based death planet, or whatever it was called.
Starkiller Base.
Yes, the Starkiller Base. And so, it was assaulted by all the rebel forces, and Rey, Poe, Finn, Han, Chewie, like all the whole gang. And they were attempting to destroy the entire base. However, in my alternate timeline, they had failed in destroying the base altogether, and it was resulting in Kylo and Phasma and her troops flushing all of them out. And the air defenses absolutely obliterating Poe's squadron fleet, and then frigates, Imperial frigates showing up to destroy 80 to 90% of said rebel fleets. So that left the rebel forces completely crippled, and that forced all of the characters to flee and to kind of be on their own. Rey is and this is actually getting into what I wrote, where it's Rey is the actual Last Jedi. The setting is in a dystopian galaxy where the First Empire solely rules and destroys any resistance without hesitation. This has made the rebel forces complacent and made civilians numb to the harsh rule. This
sound an awful lot like the U.S., am I right, guys?
Okay.
I'm gonna set this one out.
Not for us. Maybe other countries.
The Sith are on a manhunt for the elusive Rey and her small ragtag group of Han Solo, Chewie, R2-D2, C-3PO, BB-8, Poe, and Finn in the hopeless pursuit of finding the long-lost Skywalker.
Is Han Solo still old?
Yeah. He's also still alive in my script as well. Because I thought it was stupid how he died. But it's fine. Okay. But the movie opens up to the Millennium Falcon flying through space. Chewie, Han, and R2 are all working on installing new stealth drives to the Millennium Falcon since they have to kind of lay low since they're kind of, like I said, they're all on their own and they don't have anywhere to go or anyone to turn to. And so then out of nowhere, you know, as the Empire usually tends to do, they kind of just warp out of the middle of nowhere like in their general area, and they just begin attacking the Millennium Falcon, in which Han Solo needs to jump to the controls. So they finish up the stealth drives real quick, just in time, and you know, they jump away to safety. However, if you guys, I think this was introduced in the 8th movie, the Empire had acquired technology that can tell whenever somebody uses hyperspace to jump, and they can track the movements. So the stealth drive was helpful and all for maybe a little bit, but not for very long. So they come out of their jump and they land on the old war-ruined planet of Tatooine. And then what ends up happening on there is they're spending some time there. They're looking around for supplies, some scraps, and you know, because there's a lot of wars that happen there, and maybe there's some useless material they can find. And Rey attempts to find Luke through the Force just because they have no leads. They didn't acquire a map or anything. They have absolutely nothing to work on. So they're kind of just basing it on the fact that hoping that Rey can find him just through the Force. But instead, she catches a glimpse of a mysterious black figure, and then flashes to the eyes of Kylo Ren, in which he's sitting on the bridge of a Death Frigate, and it is in hyperspace. On their way to them. And so while they had the time to leave, they were about to board the ship and get out of there, when all of a sudden they were ambushed by Tusken Raiders. And you know, normally Tusken Raiders aren't too big of a deal, you know, they're pretty easily dispatched, or they're pretty easily scared off. However, one of the stray shots from the Tusken Raiders happens to hit the engines of the Millennium Falcon, disabling it from takeoff. So Rey, Finn, and Poe are all combating the Tusken Raiders, while literally everybody else, is working to fix the ship. And just as a little extra tidbit here, Jawas also sneak onto the ship for whatever reason. Just because they're curious little things, they like technology and stuff, you know, whatever.
Ooh, nice.
They're a bunch of kooky little fellows.
Yeah, Jawas are pretty cool. I like Jawas. I just thought I'd add them in the movie. So after escaping the ambush and just leaving the planet, an intense beam of blue light passes dangerously close to the Millennium Falcon, destroying the planet they left behind. So basically, I emphasize the type of light because while the Death Base was not destroyed, they had time to make modifications and create alternate lasers to do that. And so the blue beam specifically is charged with like an electric pulse. So anything it passes by or anything that comes near contact in it is like fried. So it's basically an EMP. So
okay.
I thought it was because they're using blue light to make sure they couldn't fall asleep.
No.
Okay.
So because of that, these stealth systems are fried once again. Moving on. So then Chewie sets a course for Hoth, and as the crew jumps or is attempting to make the jump towards Hoth, Rey senses Kylo, that just happened to show up in the debris of the once was Tatooine as they leave. The repair crew manages to fix the stealth systems before leaving the jump, so they're all set to go right before they come out. So they're a little more better off than they were before. Then the group lands on the war-torn planet of Hoth, littered with fallen AT-ATs and destroyed shield generators. Because there were some pretty epic fights that busted out here. Trippin' AT-ATs. I own a phone company. And
tripping AT&Ts.
And So they're there because they wanna fix themselves up a shield generator, and what better place to do that besides literally the dozens of shield generators located on Hoth.
Right.
So they're all off doing that. They're finding parts from the shield generators, and Rey's doing what she normally does. When we first saw her in the 7th movie, she's off exploring Empire tech and looting the giant machines for whatever reason, because she can't drop old habits or something. And she thinks maybe she can find something useful. And just like in that first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, while she's going through this AT-AT, she trips an alarm while she's looting the place. So this time, they with the Empire being a little higher alert since they were just alerted to their presence before, they immediately jumped to Hoth and the fight just immediately ensues, sending down fighters, sending down carriers, with the Death Frigate above just to provide quick air support if need be. So the heavy cannons from the Death Frigate are shooting at the Millennium Falcon, and most of the shots are missing, which is fine, you would think, but unfortunately, Hoth being the planet that it is, they landed on a giant patch of ice, so the ice begins to crack and shatter underneath everybody's feet in the Millennium Falcon and everything. So everybody falls into their own individual compartmentalized portions of the ice. And so for obvious reasons, and for plot protection, everybody's split up into groups as follows. You got Rey, Finn, and Poe, you got Chewie and Han, and then you got the droid crew. You got BB-8, R2, and C-3PO. So then Kylo Ren, Captain Phasma, and a group of Phasma's elites drop below the ice to confirm the deaths, because, you can never be too sure. Respectively, Kylo and Phasma encounter and pursue Rey's group. The elites encounter and pursue C-3PO's group, while Chewie and Han hastily search for the Falcon. The fights and chases persist until the Falcon team is able to fly by and pick up all the people. And the issue with this is the Hoth has developed some special ice that has some really weird reflective properties. And unlike most other movies where there's some weird mirroring movement where people are trying to find people, but there's just mirrors everywhere, the ice is showing quite literally hundreds of reflections of people everywhere, and it could be see-through, it could just be a reflection. So it's making things extra hard. So then, after the team is all gathered up, they attempt to leave the planet again, but they are once again engaged by the Death Frigate, which charges a tracking cannon volley, which Han manages to be an ace pilot and avoid the shot until Chewie is just barely able to get that prototype shield generator that they were working on to work. And the shield manages to take it, but immediately shorts out. The team is preparing to make a jump when they see a red light in the distance. The team initiates the jump and they skim by the blast seemingly unscathed. And the special properties of the red laser is that it is an intensely hot beam. So it kind of partially melted part of the Millennium Falcon. It's just with it being in hyperspace, it didn't have time to actually melt it. However, the entirety of the planet of Hoth just kind of turned into a giant ball of water and is now just dissipating in space in giant clumps of water. So these planets are just dropping left and right. All the planets you knew when you were a child from the first 6 episodes, they're just going. They're not going to be around for much longer.
They're gone. Forget about them.
Yeah. So Han discovers that the stealth systems were disabled during the ice shake. So they have to go and fix the stealth systems again, but being more experienced this time around, they managed to fix it pretty quick. Then, without a targeted jump, it leaves them in the reaches of Felucia. And just as a heads up, because I didn't know this either, I thought it was Dagobah, which is the planet that Yoda was from, or whatever. Felucia is the planet with the weird swamp creatures. I don't know. I'll be able to explain it better when I get to that part. But they land on this planet just to re-energize and re-strategize, since they were kind of caught on their heels a couple of times. Chewie, R2, and C-3PO run up, keeping repairs on the ship. BB-8 and Poe perform reconnaissance and strategy, both short range and long range. Han, Finn, and Rey explore the area to see what they can find. The Jawas explore, having never left their home planet. Tattered remains of Republic tech and Sith tech are left scattered about, in addition to indigenous corpses. So this was like the planet where not only were the Republic and the droids fighting against each other, they were also fighting against the wildlife because it was super dangerous. Then Rey's group discovers the Force Ghost of Ayla Sakura, which was like the green-blue girl with like the 2 green lightsabers. If you remember her at all, the one that just got annihilated.
She's a Twi'lek.
Yeah, so trying to warn them of an immediate danger because the wildlife on this planet is extremely hostile. The calm and quiet is disrupted by the shriek of a Jawa. Rey's group, along with Poe, rush to investigate. The small group of Jawas are being attacked by a group of Acklay, which are like those 6-legged spider shell things that, you see in, I think it was episode, like, 2 or 3 of the newer ones.
It was 2. It's in the gladiator pit thing.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Except it was a big group of them. So, as the Jawas flee, the group defends against the onslaught, while Chewie, Han, and the droids prep for leave. Both Poe and Finn are badly injured. In all of the commotion of the Jawas trying to flee and get back into the ship, one of them bumps into the shield generator and disables it, in response which Han just kind of rolls his eyes and was like, whatever, this kind of sucks. In a scramble, they launch from the nearest hospitable planet, landing on Endor, where they are greeted by the friendly Ewok village. Fun fact, this also just so happens to be the same Ewok village that they were on episode 6.
Okay.
So the Ewoks tend to Poe and Finn's wounds, while Han remembers the shield generators located on this planet. He brings along Rey and R2 to help him. R2 gets them into the bunker without triggering an alarm. Han monitors the systems, and Rey does what she does best, and scavenges for what Han has requested. And just for a little comedy relief, one of the Ewoks starts banging on R2, kind of like in that one bad lip reading thing, if you guys have ever seen that video of Yoda and all that, with a stick, which messes him up, shorts him out, and closes the door, which locks out Han and triggers an alarm because of the scavenging Rey, and then the bunker begins to power up. Because, it's like one of those long hallways that are supercharged with electricity. It just looks dangerous and like you could kill somebody. The bunker's electric current kicks on and fries Rey and the equipment she was carrying. Han catches her with a grunt of pain and says, "I'm getting too old for this," then runs out of the bunker. C-3PO finds R2, bonks him on the dome, and says, "You really did it this time, you rusty tin can." R2 slowly reboots and leaves with C-3PO. The triggered alarm once again alerted the First Empire. They prepared the Death Planet for another shot. Death Base, now that I actually know the name. But the team puts their wounded on the Falcon and board, ready to disembark. As they begin to close the hatch, they discover curious stowaway Ewoks. They attempt to scurry them off the ship when C-3PO spots a distant green light. Realizing they need to leave, Han kicks it into high gear and begins to leave as the hatch closes, causing a turbulent windstorm inside the Falcon. All those that are conscious are screaming. Upon approaching the end of the atmosphere, Han yells to Chewie and BB-8. Chewie kicks the stealth system and BB-8 reactivates the shield generator. Upon both systems kicking on, the Falcon loses all power and begins to fall. With the light getting bigger and brighter, Han is frantic in finding a solution. C-3PO manages to get R2-D2 fully rebooted and quickly fills him in on the situation, in which about halfway through R2 leaves and finds the central terminal, because R2 only really has time to listen to part of what somebody has to say before he is smart for some reason and fixes something. R2 works his magic and does what R2 does, reactivating all systems at once. Han kicks the engines to full and recovers the Falcon last second. R2 triumphantly and mockingly beeps at C-3PO for his comment earlier. Chewie and BB-8 fully engage the shields and systems, stealth system. The ship begins to die again. R2 sacrifices himself by contributing a little bit of his own power to ensure that the Falcon stays online. The beam, finally making it to the planet, zooms by and impacts. The Ewoks cry in despair and helplessness. This green blast in particular kind of just destroys all plant life, so the first thing to happen on the planet is everything kind of just turns to brown and gray and black before ultimately exploding. So this beam, besides being the classic beam, also just kind of ends life before the explosion happens. The Falcon barely escapes the shockwave and continues off into space. Immediately after confirmation of the planet's destruction, the Death Frigate shows up and within close proximity to the Falcon. Han does not attempt another jump because he overheard on the comms of the warp drive tracker. He waits for them to make their own jump. And then finally winding down, we're hitting the conclusion, which takes up about, the last 15 minutes to half hour of the movie. C-3PO and BB-8 mourn the temporary loss of R2-D2. Chewie sympathizes with the Ewoks and the Jawas, who, later become friends, and Han checks on the unconscious Rey and the recovering Poe and Finn. Han... Most of this junk is fried, but some of it can still be used. Upon reaching the end of the bag, Han finds a battery. Finn, recognizing it, jumps up and asks, "Is that what I think it is?" Han hands it over, asking what it is. It's a Galactic Empire-grade battery. Han has no use for a fried battery and tosses it aside. C-3PO picks it up and scans it, and it brings it back. "Why would you throw this out? I have no use for a dead battery." But according to my readings, it is supercharged. Finn butts in. They must have fitted it with a superconductor. Han plugs it in to confirm, and it all checks out. With this, we'll be able to easily power the Falcon in all its systems. C-3PO worryingly turns towards R2, knowing that his sacrifice may have been for nothing if they had only checked the bag sooner. Away from the group, Rey's tucked in to rest and recover, and then she begins to drift off into a dream. In her dream, she sees flashes of Luke's life. Her dream becomes a Force dream. She is now forced to interact in alternating moments that involve both Luke and Anakin. Finally, she sees a final clash between Luke and the now Vader. With every strike, the lightsabers grow brighter. Luke gets weaker and Vader becomes stronger. With one final push, Vader begins to shock Luke. His cries of pain bring... what did I write there? Ringing intensely in Rey's ears, that's what it was. As Vader and his lightsaber... Well, I don't even know what I wrote there. And throughout this, she's kind of like stuck in like a nightmare where she just can't wake up no matter how hard she tries. Oh, I see what it... As Vader brings his lightsaber down for one final strike, Luke meets him halfway. There's a blinding flash and then darkness. Rey finds herself in black nothingness. Suddenly, she hears the ventilated breathing of Vader emanating from all directions. She frantically looks around to see where the Sith Lord is. Out of the darkness comes a beam of red, sinister light. The light from the saber is enough to illuminate her and the figure, but not the darkness around them. The figure inhales one last time and removes their helmet. The removed helmet reveals a young Anakin Skywalker as he utters the cryptic words, "I'm back." Before the blink of an eye, he grabs and force chokes Rey. The force is so great that her neck snaps and the dream goes dark. It fades to Rey awakening in bed, unsure of what just happened. Poe walks in and exclaims, look who decided to wake up. Everyone available crowds in the room to check on her. "He's coming back?" she whispers. "What?" Han replies. "I don't know, someone named Darth Vader?" "What?" he replies. "Or maybe Anakin?" "Oh no." Han shrinks in defeat as Poe reels in devastation. Chewie lets out a concerned cry. Finn finally admits, "I didn't think they would actually do it." "That they could do it." "Do what?" asked Poe. "Create a syndicate." "For what?" Han replies. "His ghost," replied Finn. The screen fades to black as Han mutters the final words, "I've got a bad feeling about this." And
that's a line.
Yep, it's the line. I had to put one last little bit of comedy in there for all the Star Wars fans.
Yeah, there you go. Play us out.
Very nice.
I think the Star Wars
Any
is
thoughts?
pretty
Any
cool.
criticism? How much out of 10? Let me feel it.
So it ends with us discovering that the villain in the next one is going to be a robot possessed by Darth Vader's ghost.
Basically, yeah.
Why is he evil again?
Right over, and so a lot of Darth Vader's like ghosts, like Force ghosts and everything, has been influenced a lot of the Sith that have persisted. So his command was to build a syndicate that is closely related to him. So they actually took Luke's body. Since he was not like in the show, he's not in the movie. He's actually dead. The crew doesn't know that. They were taking that and they were trying to make kind of like a robot cyborg syndicate of Anakin through the DNA.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's going to lead into, quote-unquote, the rise of Skywalker. It's just going to be the other kind.
Darth Vader was the Skywalker all along.
Okay, now that makes more sense why you would go in that direction.
Figured, I might as well, if I'm going to change it, I might as well make it more different than just rewriting lines or events.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's interesting. I don't know how I personally would feel if I were there in the movie theater and I watched all of my favorite planets and characters getting blown up.
Yeah, that's the sad part, is like because eventually, after you add too much to a story, you gotta let go of some of the old things, no matter how hard it might be. And those old relics are supposed to be there as reminders, but then it's also supposed to show the like disconsideration of the Empire towards everything, and like how little they care about whatever it is, and it's supposed to show what the rebels are actually fighting for, kind of thing. Like, this is what's gonna happen to the galaxy if we don't do anything.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'll give it a solid... I'll go 7?
Okay.
I'll go the opposite route and say 4 out of 10. It didn't have nearly enough one-liners.
I didn't focus on dialogue, I just focused on plot. That's usually how I go.
Where are all the one-liners? They need to say I have a bad feeling about this at least 5 more times.
Yeah, it didn't have nearly enough references to previous Star Wars movies, Dylan, come on.
I mean, it had like a lot of the planets.
I think every single planet.
Yeah, but there weren't any sand jokes or anything like that, You dig?
Sand jokes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No sand jokes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My bad.
The integral part of Star Wars, sand jokes.
Of course it was. It gets everywhere.
We didn't have any cantina things blaring.
Yeah. Words of the cantina. Okay. If you're gonna be so critical, Nico, how about you show us what your script is like?
You want me to show you what I've got, Tanner?
Show me what you've got.
Show me what you got.
So you're claiming right now? I mean, okay. I guess I can. Alrighty, boys.
Go ahead.
Hang on, I'm gonna take a drink of water first.
You do that. You drink that water.
Oh,
you piece of shit.
Righty then, gamers. Are you guys ready to hear about another wonderful Star Wars story?
I literally could not be more ready right now.
Perfect, Tanner. I'd like to hear that. Alright, so boys, check out. We get a cold open on the decimated rebel base from the previous film, where like all the characters are jamming and such, and we see Finn as he's desperately trying to climb into a star cruiser while he's carrying an unconscious Poe in his arms. I'm really going to be front-loading like all the devastation and stuff this time around. The rest of the movie will be a little bit more lighthearted, but right now, we gotta get the war crimes in where we can, okay?
Right.
Alright, and so, as he climbs into the star cruiser, he checks out right outside the cockpit, as he sees flames just engulfing the entire camp around him, and he sees 2 dark figures just barely visible in the fire, But then, out of nowhere, Lumpawaru.
Who?
Chewbacca's son.
Nice.
Oh no.
I'm gonna post a picture of him into the Discord.
God. That's his name?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
great.
Lumpawaru.
I love it.
Isn't his nickname like Lumpy?
Something like that. I'll call him Lumpa.
Okay.
We see his Lumpawaru. His hair's just like on fire. He's charging out of the flames. He's trying to put him out. He's just barely able to get onto the Star Cruiser as Finn starts to like take off, Yeah. And so, like, after they, like, just blast out of the sky, we see a CGI Leia just laying there on the ground as she's looking up at the ones who cause us devastation. She's begging and pleading, but it's just fruitless, because they just keep killing off everybody around her. Like, nobody remains at this point. And she looks...
Who all was on the spaceship that got away?
It was Finn, Poe, and Lumpa.
Oh, okay,
That's it.
Okay.
They survive. Everyone else is being killed right now.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so she's looking up at him. Her pleads that nothing's happening. And then she asks him, what are you gonna do to me now that everyone else is dead? And it's then that we finally see a close-up of the perpetrators. We see the face of Sans Undertale as he tells her, we don't know what we're gonna do to you yet, but I can promise you, you're gonna have a bad time. Smash cut to the Star Wars intro blaring.
Hold on a second.
God damn it.
Have you ever even played Undertale?
I've played an Undertale once or twice.
I don't think you have.
Oh, I've played it. I've been doing a genocide route lately. I'm on the Undyne fight right now. She's hard, dude. She's difficult.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, during that entire section, I would like to note that Megalovania is just blaring like an orchestral version.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a real Sephiroth type moment, you know. Exactly. So yeah, the Star Wars intro just starts blaring, you know. The opening scroll is going, and it's just like reminding patrons, like, you know, instead of it telling you like the plot and stuff like that, it's not actually that helpful. It's just telling you like, hey guys, we just want to remind you that the theaters have been like really impacted the pandemic, so we'd like to remind you like not sneak in a bunch of food. Can you like please go out and like buy some concessions and stuff? Like we're really hurting. It's kind of a dick move that you're like, you know, not buying anything right now. And it goes on for like 20 more minutes. It's just to go into a rant about how like banks were bailed out but theaters weren't, and it's this whole thing. All right.
Well.
So yeah, after that, we get to see Rose. She's here again, guys. Rose is back. Rose and her sister, they're just like kind of flying, and then they start to encounter some problems. Okay, boys. As they're flying through space, their engine goes out, and they're like, "Oh shoot, we're gonna crash, guys. We gotta land into the nearest planet." Turns out it's a casino planet, guys. It's a casino planet that they're going to. They're going right down to the casino planet, and during the crash, things don't look so good for Rose. And unfortunately, bless her heart, she ends up passing away, and her sister has to be there for her in her final moments as they start to radio for some help. And who else is coming for help? But our boys Finn and Poe, and also Lumba, or whatever his name is. What's his name? Lumpa?
Lumpa Waru?
Yeah, Lumpa Waru? Yeah, Lumpa. He's there. Yeah, so your boys are just cruising through space, and Poe's eventually able to wake up, and Finn and Poe need to like kind of chat it out, like, okay man, what are we gonna do here? It's just you and me, we got Lumpa here as well, like what, are we getting 2.5 men of stuff? How do we even raise the Chewbacca or whatever their species is called? Like what are we gonna do here? But fortunately, they don't have to like really reminisce about like the possible amazing life that they could live together with Lumpa, because they eventually get the radio call from Rose's sister about like, hey, we crashed on this like random casino planet or something like that, I think is what's going on here. Could you guys like come and help us? And they're like, all right, well, we got some other resistance people out there somewhere apparently, so like, let's go regroup with them. It's then that we finally get to see what is happening with, what are they called? The First Order or whatever? Yeah, sure. The First Order. So, the First Order during all this, like, you know, their big-ass Star Destroyer thing, the Death Star, it got blown up, okay? They're feeling a bit low right now, and they could use a little R&R, quite honestly. So, Big Palpatine, he comes in and he's like, hey guys, I know things are looking a little bleak right now, we suffered a big loss, but you know what? I'm here for you. I'm gonna give you all an all-expense-paid vacation to the casino planet, boys. Let's go! That's where the bulk of the movie is taking place, guys.
Nice.
Oh God.
I hope you like this, Tanner.
Oh, I'm a big fan. I'm loving this so far.
So yeah, Rose's sister, she's like chilling on the casino planet, just like on the outskirts of like the main buildings and stuff like that. And she starts to see like the First Order just kind of, they're just all coming in right now. Just millions of ships boarding onto this one little planet, and she's like, oh no, did they hear like my distress call or whatever? Like, are they here to like try and wipe out whatever like remains of the rebels and stuff like that? Is that what's going on here? Nah, they ain't. They're just laying it down to go and have some good times, all right? And here's some fun little trivia for you. You know, like Big Palpatine, he's in there, he's living it up, and he's like telling all of his people, go ahead, keep spending your money. It's a great, guys. Turns out he owns a casino planet though. He's the owner.
God, Big Palpatine.
That's right, Big Palpatine. He owns the casino. He brought all of his just like poor, hopeless soldiers there to spend their money to make him richer. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. There's some commentary here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Eventually, Finn and Poe, they're able to land down on the planet, and they're like, oh, it's just you who survived, huh? Oh, also, why is the entirety of the First Order here? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I kind of thought that they like came here to kill you guys as you came to help me, but it turns out that they're just like here to party or something like that. You guys want to go join them? And they're like, hang on a second. The entirety of the First Order is on this planet right now. We like just blew up a planet. Could we maybe turn this war around right here?
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh no.
So yeah, that's what this entire movie becomes. It's just the adventures of Poe, Finn, Rose's sister, and Lumpa as they like try to blow up this entire planet. That's their job, this movie. So they decide to go in, they infiltrate the casino. It's not that hard. They just like throw on some stormtrooper stuff and they're all set. Eventually, like as they're wandering around, Finn. Poe ends up bumping into, what's her name? Phasma. He bumps into Phasma and she's like, hang on a second. Hang on there, soldier. I know you from somewhere. Because she's able to recognize that voice. That voice she's heard so many times in battle. And she takes off his helmet and reveals that it is Finn all along. But she lets him go. She's like, okay, you know what? I'm on vacation right now. Just don't do anything, and we'll be okay. All right, I'm not gonna bother you. Just go do whatever. Like, you know, have some fun like Casino Planet. Here's some chips. Go have a great time. Then we just have a nice little montage of like all the First Order bros. They're just doing their thing. They're playing some blackjack. Kylo Ren is there.
Did you just say the Fresh Order?
Yeah, they're the Fresh Order now.
It turns into a blaxploitation film for no reason.
Oh no.
That's an idea, right? A blaxploitation Star Wars film.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I just choked on my water and it's in my nose now. Oh man. Dylan, riff a little bit. That's not riffing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, in a way, it's riffing, but
I mean, it's riffing in musical terms. But you know,
it's a musical riff.
It's a musical riff. You know, I'm a pretty musical guy. You know, I like me some music.
Is that even true? How many instruments can you play, Dylan?
Drums, trumpet, euphonium, trombone.
The fuck is a euphonium?
It's baritone. It's like a mini tuba.
It's like the name of some JRPG or some shit, dude.
It's a mini tuba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You good now, Nico?
Yeah, I think I'm good now. I think the water's
done dying.
Yeah, it's like out of my nose and stuff now.
I did.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, they're all just kind of chilling. They're having a grand old time on the Casino Planet. They're watching as the whatever horse chicken things are like running around. That was a part in the original movie, right? I don't remember. They freed him or some shit. They don't do that here though. Instead, they're using them for the real intended purpose.
Food.
Exactly.
Oh.
They just start eating them.
Finn runs out of chips and he doesn't have any other options. He has to go and down one of them.
Wait, they weren't casino chips? Like poker chips?
They're like poker chips, dude. That you can also eat.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So they're lurking around. They just don't know what to do here, okay? They're like, well, before we had bombs and shit, but we can't really we don't have those as an option now. So what are we gonna do here? And you know, as they're sitting there ruminating a little bit, all right, how are we gonna blow up this planet? They think of something. They think of a little something. They're like, hey, you know what would be a crazy idea? So our ship, it's got this warp drive sort of thing going for it, you know? What happens if we just crash that right into the planet as it's going at sonic speeds, you know? Would that do very much? And I mean, they've all heard crazier ideas, like, it's bound to work, right, guys? It's got to do something at least.
It can't not fail.
It could do something. I'll leave it at that, though.
So they hightail it right out of there. But as they're going, they see Kylo Ren. He's in a drunken stupor. He's just still so bummed out after accidentally killing his father, and also by the fact that he just can't seem to cut off his own arm to be just like Darth Vader, his hero. That he just doesn't know what to do right now. And so Finn sees him. He's like, "All right, I guess. You know, I'm a good Star Wars boy. I think I'm gonna need to like help this guy out, cause like I think there's a little bit of good in him. You know, I think he's just a confused teenager." So he goes over to him. They start having a little heart-to-heart conversation, and it's here where like Finn starts to realize, yeah, there's just no redeeming him. He's just kind of fucked up. So that he just bounces. They all get in their nice little ship. And as they're getting ready to do a nice little suicide mission to wipe out the entire First Order, they realize, oh wait, hang on, we don't even need to do that. The First Order have all their ships just out here completely unmanned. So why don't we just hijack one of those bad boys and, I don't know, maybe like have Rose's sister kill herself or something. She doesn't seem that important. She can just crash into the planet. That shouldn't be a big deal. And Rose's sister's like, you know what, guys? One of you has a lightsaber. I'll just believe you. Sure, why not? So that's exactly what they do. Rose's sister, she just hops on one of them bad boys, and as they're like, as she's getting ready to activate that warp speed or whatever to just crash into the planet, and then things start to go a little south, guys. Things start to go just, things don't look so good for our compatriots during this little section of the film, you see.
What happens?
Sans Undertale and Papyrus, they,
oh no.
They start to catch up on him. Yeah.
Those are fonts.
Yeah. It's then that the doors of the casino planet just burst open, and there they are, Sans and Papyrus, as Big Palpatine screams. He doesn't know what's going on. He's only heard these funny skeletons in legend before, and never with his own eyes. All of the First Order bros, they're panicking, because like their big fat leader, who's like supposed to be really strong and stuff, he doesn't know what's happening either. So what are they supposed to do about all this? They all start scrambling. They start hightailing it out of the casino. They're just flooding the streets, hopping aboard all their ships, and then just flying out there. And so Rose's sister, she gets all confused because she's like, oh no, they must know that I hijacked their vessel. They're starting to come after me. I just gotta activate the warp speed now. But then she hears her sister's voice. One of her lines of dialogue. She begins to remember it, but then it all starts to fade away because no one likes Rose, so no one even bothered like recording any of her quotes. So she just completely loses it. And so she's like, well, I'm sure something could have saved me there, but guess not. So she activates that warp speed and just crashes right into the casino planet, blowing the thing to smithereens, boys. It's just gone. They wipe it out, but unfortunately at this point, a lot of the First Order is able to escape, including good old Palpatine, Fat Palpatine, Big Palpatine, whatever his name is, Kylo Ren, as well as Phasma. All the important characters have managed to escape somehow. As well as, like, you know, Finn, Lumpa, and Poe. They all managed to, like, leave at some point as well.
Water.
So, you know, we don't have to worry about them. But hey,
thank goodness.
At least Sans Undertale and Papyrus were on the planet, so, like, they should be gone now, right?
No.
Right?
Right. Should be gone, right?
No.
Hopefully.
No.
It is during this section where we start to see, like, you know, all the debris of the planet that just got blown to smithereens. It's just floating around there. And we see a single skull start to enter into frame. And a nice little blue flame starts to flicker around in one of the eye sockets. And then we start to hear it again. We start to hear the Megalovania ramping up. And then, like, you know, you'd think that, like, this would be the end of the film, but the original film also drug on for, like, way too long for no reason. So, yeah, we still got a couple hours left to go, boys.
Oh, God.
It is then during this part where we get a several-hour-long scene of just Sans Undertale, and just flying into all these different ships of the First Order, and he's just murdering everybody. This is the part where all the war crimes come right back, boys. They start to just all die, okay? Sans is just, he can't control himself anymore, okay? Because, well, he was able to survive. Unfortunately, Papyrus wasn't, and the man loves his bone brother, alright?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Much like I love my bone.
Exactly. Okay. And yeah, it's during this entire, like, 2-hour-long ordeal that the movie eventually has to close on a Kylo Ren and Sans Undertale, drawing their lightsabers as they stand aboard a Star Destroyer. The end.
Nice.
No, this is a fake out. Don't say nice.
After credit scene.
Damn.
We finally get to catch up on what Rey's been doing. Turns out not an awful lot. Anakin has not been helpful, like, whatsoever. We then are greeted with another 2 hours of Anakin, like, just hopping around the planet drinking milk and shit. And then we get the proper, like, you know, final credit roll. The end.
I thought you said it was going to be several more hours.
Yeah, it's several more hours of just a big-ass montage of a Sans Undertale killing absolutely everybody. Like, you know, he's going through, like, absolutely each and every member of the First Order itself, you know? He's, like, reading off their names as he kills them, like, and, like, the actor who played that character and stuff like that.
And the actor.
Yeah, so, like, you know, he's a nice and charitable guy. He wants to make sure that everyone gets their moment to shine in this film.
It sounds so incredibly tedious.
Oh, it is, Tanner. Oh, it is. But, like, there's some pretty cool cinematic shots during it, okay? Alright? Like, you know.
The cinematics are what are important.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is worse than the original.
Ooh.
How could that possibly happen, Tanner?
I don't know how it's possible, but...
I think it's because...
Are you saying that you don't want...
Here we are.
Tanner, do you not want the entire movie to take place on the casino planet?
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
Sounds like you don't know good cinema, Tanner.
That's showbiz, baby.
Maybe I don't.
After all, you haven't spent an awful lot of time lately binging absolutely nothing but, what was it, Star Wars Bad Batch, Tanner? So, like...
Not really binging because it releases weekly, so I only see an episode a week.
That's right, I forgot Disney does that. Those bastards.
Which is quite literally the opposite of binging.
You've been binging them as efficiently as you were capable of doing with the release schedule.
Yeah. I was consuming them at the fastest rate imaginable.
Watching them on triple speed and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you worry. Much like the original Last Jedi, this one is just kind of setting up for, like, all the events that will happen in the next film.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make the next? Is the next one for you gonna be just way too many plot elements and also far too long?
Exactly, Tanner. Exactly. I mean, this one was already several hours of a montage of Sans Undertale destroying the entirety of the First Order, as well as several more hours of Anakin just like not Anakin, Luke Skywalker just kind of like showing Rey about blue milk and stuff like that. But you know, we'll make sure it makes the next film at least 12 hours.
I wonder what the longest after credit scene is.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think that's a piece of trivia I'm gonna need to find out after after we're done here. Well.
Is it time, Tanner Nikolai?
Is it time for my turn?
Yes.
Very nice. Okay. Well, let's get on to my episode 8 rewrite.
Yes. How much does take place on the casino planet, Tanner?
0. There is no casino planet in mine.
You're starting off with some negative points already for me, Tanner, but let's see if you can redeem them somehow.
Alright, as last time, here's my opening scroll. Following the assault on the new Empire's force-sensing device, Rey finds herself with more questions than answers. Who was the mysterious Sith that they faced? Kylo Ren, oh my gosh, the grammar in this is horrible, I didn't even notice. Kylo Ren must find the man who murdered his students. The new Empire no longer has a way to find force-sensitive beings, but now knows that one has aligned themselves with the Alliance. After returning to Alliance HQ, Rey senses a mysterious presence. So that's my opening scroll. Just a little summary of what happened in the last movie, basically. Then here's Act 1. Rey is deep in meditation and begins to hear a familiar man's voice. The Jedi are not yet gone. You must come find me, it says. Ray says, "Who's this? How do I know this isn't a trick?" To which the voice responds, "Search your heart, you know I speak the truth." Ray then starts to head towards the hangar to get a ship. She's stopped by Finn. Finn says, "Hey Ray, where are you going?" And Ray's like, "There's something I need to go check out." And Finn's like, "Oh, well, I'll go grab the other." And Ray's like, "This is something I need to do alone." And Finn's like, "What? I can't let you just go off who knows where by yourself." And Ray's like, "I don't need you to protect me." And Finn's like, "I know that, but..." And then just then, as they're getting in this little argument, the intercom comes on. And it's like, Poe, Ray, Finn, and Roger report to the command room. Ray and Finn take one last look at each other, and Ray boards the ship while Finn heads to the command room. In the command room, Han Solo says, "Finn, where's Ray?" And Finn's like, "She took off. Said there was something she had to check." And Han's like, Jedi are always saying that. "Anyways, I have a mission for you. You're going to investigate who those Sith you ran into were." And Finn's like, "How are we supposed to investigate them? We have no idea who they are or where they came from." Now it's like, "That's where you're wrong, kid. Our analysts were able to find trace amounts of soil on your clothing after the fight that points to an uncharted planet deep in the Outer Rim. Your job is to go investigate that planet and report back." Finn and crew then take off for the planet. Then we are with Kylo and his knights. One of the knights is like, "Lord Kylo, where do we go now?" And Kylo's like, "We need a safe place where we can focus on our next move and finding that Jedi." And the knight's like, "Where would that be?" And Kylo's like, "Somewhere strong in the Force, outside the grasp of the Empire." And he focuses for a second. He's like, "I know where we can go." Now that's like the setup for the movie. And then this is Act 2. This is the meaty part. Rey is flying through hyperspace and suddenly says, "There!" She pops out of hyperspace next to a planet covered in water and small islands. She sets down on an island with what appears to be some sort of a village. She gets out of her ship and notices movement at the top of a hill, and begins climbing the stone steps encircling the hill. Upon reaching the top, she sees an older man in a black robe. As she approaches, he holds up a robotic hand and she stops in place. He says, "What is your name?" And she replies, "Rey." He asks her, "Why did you come here?" And she says, "I heard you ask me to come here." He says, "Oh? And how do you know it was me?" And she says, I can tell. I can just tell. You're the one who called me here." And then he chuckles a bit and he's like, "And who am I?" And she pauses for a second and then says, "You're Luke Skywalker. You started the new Jedi Temple." And Luke says, "Good. You're quite perceptive for a Padawan." And then Rey says, "But the temple was destroyed, and my master, your sister, was killed." And Luke sighs and he says, "Yes, I sense that through the Force. Tell me, did her death serve a purpose?" And Rey says, she sacrificed herself trying to save all the students at the temple. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have survived." And Luke turns to Rey and says, "Well, let's make sure her sacrifice results in something good." And Rey says, "By destroying the Empire?" And Luke says, "No, by completing your training. Lesson 1, Jedi don't destroy their enemies. They only act in defense of themselves and others." And then Rey says, "But we could save more people if we destroyed the Empire before they attack anyone." And Luke says, "If you go around attacking anyone you see as a threat, how are you any different than the Empire?" And Rey's silent because she's stupid and didn't think of that. And Luke's like, "Come, you have much to learn." And so that's Rey and Luke's little introduction. We're now with Poe, Finn, and Roger. Finn's like, "That's the planet?" Poe, "Yeah. That right there is where we'll find our answers." And Finn says, "It definitely looks Sithy." And Poe's like, "Sithy? You know, like old dark and evil and whatever." "Okay, bud, haha." And Roger's like, "Preparing landing procedure. Brace for inclement weather." They land, and then the crew is approaching the Sith Temple, which looks very scary. This is the Sith Temple from the last movie that Starkiller attacked. And then Poe's like, "You know, Finn, you were right. This place is very Sithy." And Finn's like, "Very funny, but can we keep it down? We don't know what we'll find here." They enter the temple and are walking through the hallways. Poe says there are signs of a massive fight happening here, and Finn says, "But where are the bodies?" Poe says, "Roger, scan for life forms and heat signatures." Roger says, "Roger, scans, no life forms or heat signatures detected." Poe says that's either very good or very bad. They enter the main room and it's too dark to see anything. Poe tells Roger to give them some light, and Roger turns on his flashlight, revealing the corpses of dozens of Sith younglings and knights. The crew are in shock. Poe says, what happened here? And then Finn says, the Empire did this. They must have attacked this temple around the same time as the Jedi temple. But there are no blaster marks anywhere, only signs of sabers. Plus, where are the dead troopers if that's the case? Finn looks a bit puzzled and begins to answer, but just then they hear voices coming from the hall ahead of them. Roger turns off his lights and the crew finds hiding places. A small group of stormtroopers enters the room. They sweep the room, but don't spot the crew and head out the hallway towards the entrance. Poe says, okay, so the Empire is here. Are they just being slow about leaving this place? Finn says, no, that was a patrol. They must be here to guard or find something. Poe, well, let's go find out what that thing is. They head down the hallway the troopers came out of. And then we cut to Kylo's group. They're on a rocky planet walking down a hallway. They pass through a series of puzzles that use the dark side of the Force, and they fight like evil Sith Sentinel guard robots or something like that. They arrive at the egg pod thing Darth Vader has in the original Star Wars. Kylo enters it and starts meditating. Eventually the pod opens and Kylo says, I know where the Jedi are. And then we cut back to Rey and Luke, and they're doing a training montage. And then at the end of the montage, a Star Destroyer appears in orbit. We cut back to Finn and company. They find an archaeological work site sort of thing, where troopers are attempting to grab an object that appears to be protected by some kind of force field. As they're trying to figure out what it is they found, as they're trying to figure out what the thing is, they're found and a fight ensues. They fight their way to the object and Finn manages to force his hand through and grab the object as they run away. So this one is kind of like a nudge nudge wink wink, maybe Finn does do the Force because he's able to get through the force field that the other ones aren't able to get through.
Nice.
Back on Luke's planet, a lander comes down from the Star Destroyer. On it is a contingent of anti-Force troopers as well as Captain Phasma and Starkiller. Luke tells Rey to stay put and then sheds his robe and ignites his saber. He jumps down from the hill to where they landed and he does some hardcore badassery and dispatches the regular stormtroopers before turning his attention to Captain Phasma. As they're fighting, Starkiller is about to strike Luke but is blocked by Rey. And Luke is like, I thought I told you to stay back. And Rey said, I couldn't let you fight them alone. Luke says, fine, but at least swap with me. And so they swap so that's Luke versus Starkiller and Rey versus Phasma. Phasma is easily dodging Rey's attacks and suddenly fires a blaster bolt at Luke, which hits him in the shoulder. Rey cries out Luke's name and starts fighting really aggressively with Phasma. The blaster shot has turned the tables in Luke's fight, and he's now on the defensive. Luke makes a small cut on Starkiller, but Starkiller puts one of his lightsabers down and uses that hand to heal his wound. So this is like a light side power he's using, and Luke's like, you're a Jedi? And Starkiller's like, oh ho ho, I'm so much more than a Jedi. And then he uses Force Lightning, which is a dark side power. He then unleashes a flurry of Force attacks and eventually kills Luke. Rey cries, no! The shock of Luke's death sends Rey into a panic and she starts losing her fight. Right as it seems she's about to be struck down by Phasma, a red blade pierces Phasma's armor. Standing there is Kylo Ren. Kylo says to Rey, why is that Jedi attacking you? And Rey says, he's not a Jedi. I don't know what he is, but he's with the Empire. The Knights of Ren, meanwhile, have engaged Starkiller. Despite being outnumbered, Starkiller makes easy work of them using flashy saber technique and overwhelming force power. After he kills them all, Starkiller turns towards Rey and Kylo and he chuckles and then says, you wish to know what I am? I am the living avatar of the Force. The light and dark sides are at my disposal. The balance of the Force is reflected in my power, and the more balanced the Force is, the more powerful I become. That's why I must eliminate all Force users, so I may achieve ultimate balance. Kylo then looks at Rey and says, "Enemy of my enemy?" And Rey says, "Right," and they start fighting Starkiller together.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a pretty epic moment. While they're able to keep themselves alive, the gap in skill and power is apparent. As the fight starts to turn against them, a series of blaster shots rain down on Starkiller and he retreats. A ship lowers to the ground and opens its landing pad. Inside is Finn and he shouts, "Get on!" Rey and Kylo hop into the ship and it takes off as Starkiller watches their retreat. Then, this is Act 3, so the rest of this is just kind of setting up what we're going to be doing in the next movie.
Yeah, we've got the falling action here now.
Yeah, the falling, exactly. Rey says, "Thanks for the save," and Poe says, "No problem. Who was that you were fighting?" And Rey says, "No idea. He was powerful, though. He killed Luke Skywalker just now." And then Kylo says, "And my knights." And Finn's like, what's he doing here?" Rey says, "He's on our side, for now. How did you guys find us?" And Finn says, "Oh, we followed that thing," and he points at the device they had taken from the temple. And Kylo's like, "This is a Sith holocron. Where'd you get this?" And Poe's like, we found it." And Rey's like, "The Jedi Temple has a thing that looks just like that." And then Kylo is kind of surprised, and he's like, "Legends say that if a Jedi holocron and a Sith holocron are ever brought together, their wielder can acquire any knowledge they need." So that's a little reference to the TV show Star Wars Rebels, because that's like a thing they do in it. They find out that if you combine a Sith and Jedi holocron, you can ask it one question and it'll tell you the truth.
Huh.
Which I think is a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they acquire any knowledge they need, and Rey's like who that man is, and Kylo says, "and how to defeat him." And Poe says, "Okay, well, we'll tell General Han all about it when we get back to base." And Kylo's like, "No, we need to go retrieve that holocron now." And Poe says, "Hey, when you're piloting the ship, you can decide where we go." There's then like a sort of loud thunking noise, and Finn's like, "What was that?" And Kylo says, "That was my ship attaching to your docking port. If you won't go after the holocron, I'll go after it myself." Rey says, "I'm coming with you," and Finn's like, "Wait, but..." And then they just leave.
Ah, very good.
And then Poe's like, "Looks like it's just you and me again, buddy." And Finn says, "Great." And then, boom, fade to black, Star Wars.
Hey!
So yeah, basically what we accomplished in this one is we really set up what Starkiller is. We set him up as like the ultimate force they need to defeat in the next movie. Luke is dead, and then Kylo and Rey are now like their whole deal is starting to form, and they're going off to get the holocron from the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, they're like heckin' tight now.
Yeah, they're thick as thieves.
But Tanner, Starkiller is so cool. How can they ever defeat him?
It's gonna involve like the Force dyad thing, like in the actual sequels.
So they will defeat him. I've already gotten some information from you, viewers.
Maybe I'll let him win at the end.
That'd be really cool if you did that, Tanner.
Movies have had it
It's
too
pretty
good
cool.
for too long. They always have the happy endings. Now it's time for the villains to triumph.
Is he really
Maybe-
a villain, though?
I don't know.
He's just trying to bring balance to the Force by killing everyone who can use the Force.
Come on, Dylan.
But isn't the Force
How
in
bad
everybody?
even is that? Don't even worry about it.
Alright.
See, the logic I'm using there is that, like, there's a difference between being Force sensitive and being, like, explicitly aligned with, like, the light or the dark side.
Right.
Okay.
But, yeah. What'd you guys think of my little script there?
I think it was pretty good. I don't
Not
remember.
enough subverting of expectations, Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like you kept some of the, like, you kept some of the ideas from the original movie in it, you just expressed it and displayed it in a different, like, turn of events, like Luke dying and Rey and Kylo
Yeah.
basically working together, all that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it is overall, like, I don't remember too much from the 8th movie, except for the very ending. So
I think the only thing that I really have in common is that Rey is off training with Luke.
Tanner, I think you forgot one vital aspect of the film, though. Tanner,
Yeah.
where are the porgs?
Hold on. Right.
Tanner,
I was expecting you to either say something about porgs or the casino planet.
Tanner, we need to get
Yeah.
those marketable porgs in there, my guy.
Mhm.
Star Wars is built off of the merchandise.
What are
You think the
porgs?
films are what makes the money, my guy? No, it's the
Tell you-
porgs.
Tell you what, on the Sith temple planet, there's like rock porgs. They
they're-
look like porgs, but they're made out of rock.
Can they just be porgs but in Sith robes?
They have feathers
Oh,
that make
these
it look like they're
things!
wearing little Sith robes.
Oh
Nice,
my gosh,
there
I
we
love
go.
these. They're so adorable.
You see, Dylan's already hooked. Dylan's already on the porgs, my guy.
Mhm.